All right, so here's the thing: who hurts more after a long-term relationship and breakup? Um, and I'm not talking about necessarily financially, even though that does play a part. I'm not talking about materialistically, financially. I'm talking about who suffers mentally and spiritually more. All right, and we can take a look at a couple of factors, right? Women, a lot of the times, um, they'll go through things after a long relationship, right? And they broke it off, or they, for whatever reason it may be, they're no longer in a relationship with the guy that they have um, uh, got had a relationship with, right? When a woman is chosen, there's a sense of happiness there. There's a sense of sometimes it could be secureness. There's a sense of responsibility. There's a sense of, now I'm going to figure out who I am. But a lot of times when women are chosen, depending on their mental state, right? They can never really let go of people that they've had in the past, right? Especially if they haven't taken time to themselves to get over a relationship, right? And this goes with having a vagina. It's a spiritual thing to have a vagina. It's a receptive thing to have a vagina, right? And this is why women are nurturers and carers, and you know, they take care of families. A vagina is a large part of it, right? And after a long relationship, women instinctively know that the best way to get over a long relationship is to get into another one, meaning to get another covering, right? And a lot of the times they don't take time to themselves to fully recoup, like a man does. Now, a man's mental state when he gets married, right? Understand this. He have come to the conclusion that he's ready. He has come to the conclusion that he has now figured out who he was, or who he is, or who he think he is, right? He has now come to the conclusion that um, you're going to be the one, and I'm gonna ride it out with you. Like, you're going to be it, right? And so when that relationship dissolves, what men go through, it can feel like a sense of failure, right? Because a lot of the men don't necessarily realize that we have options, but we do. A lot of fellas, if you don't know that you have options, you do, right? And since we do have that option, we've chosen her, we've chosen you to spend the rest of our lives with. You get what I'm saying? And so there is a sense of, damn, I failed. And we don't necessarily um quickly go out and try and find someone new or find someone different to try and get over the relationship, right? We, a lot of the times, will sit and will slumber, right? A woman's going to sit and slumber for some time as well, right? But that instinct, that survival instinct that a woman has, kicks in, and she's like, oh shit, I need to be covered. You get what I'm saying? I need to get over, right? And they'll go back to their friends who probably introduced them to someone else, or they go back to that single, ready to mingle mindset a lot of the times, because a lot of times that's what that's the relationship they've built with other women who don't necessarily have their best interests at heart, right? And so they go back onto the market just probably weeks after being broken up. Like I said, they have this thing about them that, I have to survive, and the best way I know how to survive is by jumping into another relationship, right? They need to heal themselves, and a lot of the times they heal themselves by, taking in some new doctrine, right? You get what I'm saying? But men, when we get out of a relationship, something happens to our confidence, right? Something happens to, our inner being. Something happens like, damn, I chose her, right? And I was not expecting, either through just being naive or um, uh, just not protecting ourselves, right? I was not expecting to have to go out and find someone else, right? I chose her to be with me for the rest of my life. You get what I'm saying? And women tend to always are looking. They has this thing they call it hypergamy, right? To where they're always looking for an elevation. They're not really settled into one thing, and this is why, because they're receivers, this is why they hold on to past relationships, because that spirit is still in them. That sexual spirit is still in them, that other man's doctrine. And so they can quickly go out and, text someone else and just be like, hey, I'm here. I'm not with the guy no more. You were my work husband, whatever factor it may be. Right. But us fellas, we don't always do that. Right. And a lot of the time, like I said, a lot of times when we get married, or we have this long relationship, we have chosen this woman who we expected to be with for the rest of our lives. You understand what I'm saying? And so when that's broken off, failure sets in. The failure of responsibility, the failure of, now my family's broken up, the failure of, what am I going to do? Right? There's a lot more factors that we think about when we have dissolved a long-term relationship or marriage, right? Because we put all our eggs in one basket, right? And we figured that, this woman is going to be down for me and I'm going to be down for her, right? I'm not saying that women don't think this way, but more men think this way than women do, right? They don't go into relationships believing, especially marriages. Women don't go into marriages believing that this, especially modern, this is my last, this is my only, right? They go into marriages believing like, oh shit, what if this don't work out, right? They're always in survival mode. Men, we go into it thinking this is it, right? And like I said, something happens to a man's psyche that women have no idea about, right? Something happens to where everything we have, everything we've done comes crashing down. So if you ask me who suffers more after a breakup, I'll definitely say men, right? We deal with more the loss of failure. I mean, the sense of failure, the sense of confidence, everything drops. But anyway, let me know what y'all think.